So now when you have written this, so as we have said, this is your header file. So this is a header file. So in this header file, you have like a derivative. A derivative is this include, and you have IO stream. In your IO stream here, the first letter that you see, which is I, it means that I stand for input, and the O, the second O there, this one here, it stands for output. And now when we using namespace, you are using it because they are names. They are names or variables. I can say names or variables that are already been declared in your code block. Names like variables that are already declared is like, you see this one is written. The code block, it knows when you write written or int, it knows what is the meaning of that. We still have to talk about cin and also cout. So these are named variable, they are already been declared. So they are being known by using this statement called using namespace std. So int main is a function, is a function. So when int main is a function, this int main there, it have a data type. A data type of this int main of this function is integer. Int means an integer. That int there, that int means an integer. So when it means an integer, you have a main. So the main is the name. Main is the name of your function, is the name of your function, and these brackets here, we call them parentheses. The brackets, they are called parentheses. So these brackets, parentheses, inside here, inside the brackets here, there is nothing. That's why this function, when we write return, we say return 0. So this function, which have functions which start with int, float, I'm still going to explain to you about that. They are return type functions, but we're still gonna go to that chapter, not now. So at least if you understand the meaning of everything that I have defined here, and this we call them braces, né? And this is a semicolon. This semicolon here, every time when you write a statement or when you are programming, when you end your sentence, you must put a semicolon to indicate to the computer that you ended your sentence. So now we are going to write a simple program, a simple program. So the other thing that I didn't tell you about, you see these two slashes here. When you are writing a comment, you use these slashes for comments. So I will just say comments. Sometimes if you want to comment everything, you can use a star slash star, and then you comment at the end of everything that you've commented, you put star again and slash like that. So whatever that I can write within this, there will be comment. You can see even the color that it shows that it's different to others. So those are if you want to make comment. So comments in programming, they help that if you are writing a program whereby your program is going to be read by somebody, let's say that person maybe does not really understand the function that you created, you can make a comment based on the function. You explain what is all about that function, or what is all about the formula, or what is all about the code that you are writing. So let me just erase this now. So our code here is, the objective is for me to teach you about the first thing you need to know about this programming, which is called C++. So I can write my comment. I say the program is to elaborate or illustrate, or let's just use not illustrate, it's not going to be a good English word in this sentence. The program is to teach, or yeah, let's just use simple English, teach a student, a beginner, is for begin. The program is for the beginners, yeah, beginners. So you'll see that's the comment I have just written. So after that now, when I want to start with a programming, we have something called cout. Cout means display. The cout here, it means display in a screen. Okay? So when we talk about display in a screen, we are going to have our small screen because in this programming or in this module, you are going to be a programmer and you are going to be a user at the same time. So we are going to is to display the screen, and you are going to put this thing called less. This thing called less, they are called insection. Sorry, not insection, extraction operator. They are called extraction operator, and there is also insection operator. Insection operator, they are less, greater like this way, but you don't use them here in cout. So let's just write, I'm going to write my name. My name is Leo. So I have written this. Whatever that, when you are writing something, you must put, not everything that you write, but if you are using a cout, you must put a double quotation mark. Whatever you write in double quotation mark, it can be in your home language, or it can be in any other languages that you know. It won't have a problem, or you can even make a mistake. It will be displayed as the way you have written it in the double quotation mark. So after that, you will put again extraction operator. When you put extraction operator, I can use an end line, or I can just leave it like this. So let me just first leave it like this way. Then I'm going to explain to you about the end line after um, we have built this program and run it. The first thing you do, you come to press the build. When you press the build, it will tell us exactly where the problem is. So in your code block here, you have a place whereby it's called a build. There is a build message. You can see there are different type of, there is a code block, search results, CC, everything. So what we need for to check the message, we come to build messages. So when you come here, it will tell you build file, no target in no project. Okay. Then status is an error, invalid processing directive hash include did not mean what. So which means in our program here, we have a problem in hash include. So hash include, I didn't write it properly. I was supposed to be in this way, hash include. So now let me just do a, okay, hash include. So if I build it again, it's still complaining about hash include. Now there is 2U, that's the mistake. Let's build again. Now when we build it, it will tell you that building finished, 0 errors and 0 warnings and 0 minutes after that, which means our program, we have write a perfect program. After that, when you have 0 errors and 0 warnings, you can now run your code. When you run your code, you press there, then it's going to show you my name is Leo. So you see that. So just take note that after my name is Lebo, processing written is very closer to what we have just written. So this is a screen that I'm talking about. And then I think you have seen it if you have tried to code something in your code block. So now when you have this, we can decide to put the end line. So end line means new line. End line, it means that new line. So new line, it means that if I'm writing something like hello, and then I say hi, you see these things, there is no line here in between. If I put end line like this here, I'm just giving an example. When we output them, this hello, there will be a space here. It will be like this way. Let me take out the end line. There will be a space to show that we created a new line. So still the same way we are doing here. We just created a new line, which means between the process, as I've told you that you must check, you will see that there will be a space now. It won't be the same as before. So you see now there is a space there. So this space that you see is because of this end line here. Are you still here?
Yes.
Are you here? All right. So now, instead of writing this kind of end line, you can still use this way. You can just put /n. This /n is the same as end line, the /n. So whenever you make a changes in your program, remember you must first build it and run it. Because if I don't make a change, let me show you something. I'm gonna first build it and run it. There is no what? There is no end line. You see that if I put /n now, I just come and run my code. It's still gonna be the same because I didn't compile it. So every time you must build, when you are building, you are compiling your code and you run it, then now you will see that there is different. You have detected that there was a change in the code. So with this, which means now you can just try when you are practicing, try to write something like a poem or maybe just any paragraph using the cout only. And then you see how you can write it. Like you can try to do anything that you want with cout. Maybe a poem, you just type in cout using end line as I've showed you. And if you want to use a tab is /t. So if we put /t like this here, you will see that the space, it will show you that it's tabbed, tab. So you will see when we play now, you'll see that it's shifted to show that it's tabbed once, yes. So it's /t. Some of the abbreviation as you are programming, as in this course, you're gonna don't know them as time goes on. So let's talk about what is your name. I ask a person, what is your name? So the user or the person who is reading this, you might want to respond to this question, that what is your name? So when a user wants to respond, you might type any name. You can type master, you can type any name label, you can type Takaro. It depends on how we want to type. But in order for us to capture what the user is typing, we use a cin. Cin, it allow us to use what to extract, to not to insert, to extract what the user is typing. So which means this greater, they are extractions, and this one, they are insertion. So when we want to extract, we must create a folder in our computer. When we are creating a folder, we must tell a computer that this folder is going to be holding what? We have different type of data type that I'm going to share with you now. So everything that I'm writing here, they are called data type. So data types, everything that you're doing here, even when you go to do some other languages, you are still going to, if it's int, it's going to be integer. It will never change anymore, whether you are working with Python, or you are working with Java, or you are working with C#, or you are working with just C, language C, or JavaScript. All the languages, if it's int, it's going to be meaning it's an integer. They don't change. And then if it's double, this double integer, before we proceed, they are numbers. Numbers, it can be -10, it can be 3, it can be -1, it can be 100. These are integers. And double, they are decimal numbers. Decimal numbers. So these decimal numbers, they must be double. Like when they say double, it's like they say they can be 10,55. You see, those are double numbers, but you can use it as a decimal, and we also have float. Float is for decimal. So I will encourage you, or I will tell you, I can say to you, stick more on float if you are working with these decimal numbers. It's also for decimal number. And then we also have a string. A string is for characters, or is for words, for words. Characters or words. Words are like if you're asking a user to enter something like, what is your name? A name is a word. So which means we're going to use string. And we also have char. A char is for also characters. But these characters, it differ with this string because you can control how many letters. Here you can control it or how many letters to accommodate. But in the string here, if the difference between this one, the char and the string, let me just show you the difference. If I use a string, I type lebuhang. Okay? I type lebuhang using a string. After that, I say pretty with a space here. You see that? So there is lebuhani and pretty. If we just use a cin with a string, when it's gonna take everything there. But when we see a space, it's gonna stop. But if we use only char without doing only just char, char is going to only take one letter. It's gonna, if you don't mention how many letters it must accommodate, it will only take one L. It will only output L. But if you say char, for example, you put a char, you say name, after that, how many letters? 4, then it's gonna take only LEBO to indicate how many letters it must take. So that's the other thing. So there are still more that you're still going to learn. The other one I will show you is a bool. A bool is about true. It's a boolean. In other words, boolean. It means boolean. A boolean is about true and false. So true and false in mathematics we indicate as true is 1 and 1 and false is 0. So 1 and zeros. So that's why in terms of when you go further with your studies or when you are studying district mathematics, you are going to deal with binary numbers. Binary numbers. So binary numbers. So binary numbers, they are all about the Boolean. So you're gonna be dealing with 1 0 1 1 1. So this is how the computer interpret your messages, everything that we code. So your code, when it gets processes by the computer, it becomes numbers 1 0 0 0 something. So in district mathematics, they will teach you how to interpret these numbers. So the other one we can talk, there are still many of them. We have a long double, long short. We're still gonna talk as time goes on, but for now, just stick on this one. I have just given it to you. And then when you are doing your studies. So right now, we ask a user, what is your name? A user can decide to enter something. In order for us to allow a user to enter and to be captured with our computer, we must have something called declaration. I will just make a comment, writing declaration. So declaration is about like you are declaring that, okay, this name that I'm going to create a folder called name. This is going to only accept the word string. We can name it name. So now we have just declared a string name, then we can see in name. So when a user enter the name, it's going to be stored in this folder called name. So what is your name? Then your name, the name a user will enter is going to be stored in the name. So to show you that the computer have captured the name, I can say your name is. Then I will just write the name of a folder, the name of a folder, which is name. So what you write in C in here, it must be exactly as the way you have declared it. So if I wrote names, here also it must say names. You see, names, you must use the same names. So let me use end line. So if we don't use end line, when a user is typing, it's gonna be in the same line as this line here. But if we put end line here, it's gonna be down in the new line. But now let's just build our code or compile our code. There are no errors. So now let's run it. What is your name? I will say Le Wuhan, or am I spelling it like? Okay, so you can see that when your name is Le Wuhan, you see that.
Yes.
Okay, so the difference now that you must remember is that every time when you use cin, you must have a declaration.
Yes.
You cannot just say cin something that is not declared because your computer it does not know about it.
Okay.
Any question?
So far no.
So you are fine. Did you know how to do this, what I'm teaching now?
Yes, I'll try it out after the lesson and see.
Okay. So
Okay.
this is lesson 1, 2, whatever that I've teach you now in course 1511 is gonna cover 5 lessons. So you're
Okay.
going to do lesson 1, lesson 2, lesson 3, lesson 4, and then lesson 5 you skip it for variable diagrams. Then another one I think is lessons 5, 6. So we already done so far things that you, if you are reading your study guide, is 5 lessons, 5 chapters.
Okay.
Yes. So now the only thing that you need to work around with is about the, what is it? It's about understanding the C out. You understand now the C in, and remember when you use C in, you must have a declarations, and then C out the way the second step, the last statement you see C out here. I said your name is, instead to just type the name of a person, I use what the name folder name, because the name is stored there, is there. Then it could be able to see that it's Leuhani, the way we have done it. So you can also see how I didn't put the double quotation mark, because the moment if you put a double quotation mark like this, you see it changes. It's no longer in the same as this one. It's just a name that you just written. Your name is name. So if you put double quotation mark, if you are referring to things that you have declared, it won't work the same way. So you will see that it says your name. Even if we say, you see, your name is names. You see that. So those are difference that you must take into account. So, okay. So the other thing that I'm gonna explain, because today is an introduction class, we also in this computer, in this code block, you can also use it as a calculator. For example, you can say C out, you say 4, 5 plus 3, it will still give you an answer that is 8. So it's gonna give you an answer. You can use a division, divide by maybe 7, 10, or 12, divided by 3 is 4, we know. It's gonna tell us if you are right. Okay, it didn't. Let's build it first and run it. You see, 12 divided by 3 is 4. So you can also use it as a calculator. Then starting tomorrow, I will want you to just do few questions, maybe like to go through one chapter lesson in your study guide, the first one, so that you can understand this chapter, that everything that we have been doing. And then also check more on C out and C in. And then, yeah, that's the most important thing, so that you don't get confused. And then I will only want you to write me a code which will ask a user to enter a number, a number. Just I'll write a program that will ask a user to enter a number, just all. So if I wanted to say a decimal number, I was gonna say to enter a decimal number. So it's just a number. So I have taught you about the data types, and then now you can just write that program for me, and then yeah, we're gonna be fine. So maybe if you are done, you can just take a screen, take a picture and send it to my WhatsApp to see how you did it.
Okay.
So for today's lesson, it won't be that much long, but starting tomorrow, the lesson is going to be very long. And I'm going to send you the timetable for this class because there will be some other students who are going to be joining.
Okay.
Yes, I'm going to send you the timetable. I'm still constructing it.
All right.
All right. So any question before I end the call?
No, so far. If there's any questions, I'll ask you via WhatsApp. Can you send me the recording?
Yeah, recordings I'm gonna send you via the link in the form of a link. Sometimes you will, as time goes on, these recordings they're gonna be here in that link. The when you enter, I'm going to like add you guys in this platform. So when you log in, anytime you can also log in when I'm not available, then you're gonna be able to
Access
listen to the recordings. Yes, but you won't be able to, you won't